I hate how much this chair creaks. Super annoying. So Focus stars Will Smith and Margot Robbie, and the best way I can sum this film up is that it's about a con man who is incredibly good at what he does, and this guy is played by Will Smith, and sometimes he pulls off really large heists, I guess you could say. Other times though, and for the most part, he just steals wristwatches and pickpockets wallets from people on the street, and he has this whole organization that kind of do that all together, and they make a lot of money, and he notices this woman who is trying to be a con woman, and this woman is obviously going to be played by none other than Margot Robbie, and he decides to teach her a couple new things, and they pull off some pretty grand schemes together, and that's the first half of this movie. And then the second half of this movie jumps ahead 3 years from where the first half took place, and things are a little different, and it kind of chronicles the relationship of these two characters, and I guess everything that they've been through together. Now, the best way that I can critique the story of this movie is that it really isn't in focus very much, and that's pretty ironic to say because the movie's title is, of course, Focus. Now, I will say that Will Smith and Margot Robbie worked very well together. Their chemistry was just great, which I was totally expecting. Before I went to go see this movie, I was like, okay, this movie is like a star movie. It's a movie star movie. We have Will Smith, who was a huge star in the 90s and like the early 2000s. He's kind of fallen off a little bit in the last couple of years, but I feel like he's trying to rebuild that. And of course, Margot Robbie just came off of The Wolf of Wall Street, which is one of the grandest and most extravagant movies we've seen in the last couple of years, and these two people, they just seemed like they were going to work very, very well together, and they definitely did. They were pretty much the best part about this movie was their chemistry. But back to the story, I don't think that it was very good. The first half of the movie, there really wasn't a lot of story, but I thought the first half was more entertaining than the second half, because the first half had them like stealing watches and stuff like that. I know it doesn't sound very entertaining, but I think that it was filmed and directed in a way that made it exciting, and there was this one scene at a football game that was about 40 minutes in that was really good. It was the best scene of the entire movie. It was really intense. My heart wasn't pounding. I was just like, this is really crazy. Some really crazy shit happened in that scene. But right after that scene, things take a turn for the worse, and it just turns into this really lame, goofy, lovey-dovey love story that just did not really work, and the last half of this movie was just really, really boring. It wasn't as entertaining as the first half. The lighting in this movie and the cinematography is definitely really good. It makes the movie feel really lively and energetic, and the movie also has a really cool and great soundtrack. It really fit the tone of this movie very well. And the very ending of this movie, it's really dumb. It is actually so stupid. There were some really stupid scenes in this movie, and at the end there were just so many people backstabbing each other and just turning motives around, and by the end you're just like, there was no story really, and I just didn't care by the end of the movie. Yeah, Will Smith and Margot Robbie were great. It was a really good-looking movie. It had a cool soundtrack. It was entertaining at times, but the last half of it really just wasn't that entertaining, and the story just didn't really go anywhere. So that's my review of Focus. I'm going to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars. I wasn't expecting a ton from this movie, but I was really hoping to just enjoy it more than I did. I was expecting it to be kind of dumb. I definitely was, but I was just expecting something a little different. So this is Luke signing off. Please subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.